It's official. Donald Trump wants to abolish the income tax. In a much-anticipated interview with Joe Rogan, Trump said the country should return to the late 19th century when we had no income tax at all and funded the federal government with tariffs. Now, for months, Trump has been making it clear he really does not like the income tax. He's promised to exempt tax on tips, Social Security, overtime pay, first responders, and even 18 million veterans. I kept hoping he would come out and just break up with the income tax once and for all, and indeed he did. So what if we end the income tax, laying off all 93,643 IRS agents so you can keep every dollar you earn? Will Washington have to run on bake sales? Well, the income tax currently costs the American people $2.4 trillion a year. Trump proposes to replace it with tariffs of 20% on everybody but China, who gets an extra special 60% tariff. Altogether, that might bring in about $900 billion a year. This would grow America's economy like rocket fuel. I run through some numbers on the free Substack, but maybe near term we're talking a 20% increase in the economy, so about a $15,000 raise for the typical American family. Note that's on top of the $18,000 of income tax you would no longer have to pay. Knock off $3,000 for the tariffs and you get about $30,000 in additional income for the typical American family, close to $3,000 per month. Keeps getting better because going by low-tax countries today, or America before the income tax, we might expect a doubling of annual economic growth. So 5% growth would be the new normal. Your kids would be 3 times richer than you as it used to work in America. America would be by far the richest country in the world, also as it was before the income tax. Of course, ditching the income tax would also mean the mother of federal budget holes. After all, replacing $2.4 trillion with $900 billion is a big hole. Even if you add, say, an extra $500 billion in payroll and excise tax from economic growth, you've still got about $1 trillion to cover. Now, we could just let it run in deficit, letting the economy outgrow it. I mean, that's what they do with everything else that does not grow the economy. But you could also cut $1 trillion in federal spending out of the $6.5 to $7 trillion that we currently spend. How would one do such a thing? Well, the other day, Elon Musk estimated he could cut $2 trillion in waste and fraudulent payments. Ron Paul responded, suggesting the military-industrial complex and the pharma-industrial complex. Indeed, going by countries like Britain, perhaps 800 out of the 900 billion we spend on military is not for protecting Americans, so border, Coast Guard nukes, it's for invading other countries. As for pharma, really the medical industrial complex, if we simply copy countries like Singapore, we might save around about $2 trillion or more, and Americans would not go bankrupt getting knee surgery. And then there's the illegals, $150 billion a year minimum, plus the trillion or more we spend on welfare, much of it to the able-bodied. Sharpen some pencils, and you get $1 trillion easy, probably $2 trillion if you try. So your country is rich, the IRS is gone, and you get a nice, lean government. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The Uniparty will fight this like a rabid dog, but if a president can sell it to American voters, 30,000 is a chunk of change, Congress will go along out of sheer self-preservation. Plus, the bake sales would be lit. Read the rest with charts and all the gory details at profsatanj.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.